What's up, everybody? I'm meteorologist Andrew Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. They're linked as always in the description to this video, so go ahead and check out the good work that they do. We have hail on the horizon today for Iowa into Missouri and Kansas as well. So I'm going to look at our hail chances for today. Could be large, so we've got that to look into, and then we've also got wind chances for you guys as well. Then into tomorrow, that whole risk is going to kind of shift off to the east into the Ohio Valley, so hail and wind as well for you guys to start your weekend. And then we're going to go into the tropics. We do have a tropical disturbance on the Gulf, and it has jumped over the Yucatan Peninsula. So now that it is in the Gulf of Mexico, we do have a little bit of a chance for that to develop over the next coming days. So I want to update you guys on that before we get into our weekend. But as usual, before we get into our weather, we want to tell you guys about the cool things we have upcoming here at Hail Trace. We do tailgates here down in Norman, so this is going to be by the Bud Wilkinson House on Jenkins Ave on OU's campus. And on September 3rd, we're doing the OU versus UTEP tailgate, so it's going to be the kickoff game of the season for, OU home games. So if you guys want to come out there and watch some football, get some free food, free beer, play cornhole, get a chance to win some free tickets, come on out to OU versus UTEP, and if you miss it, no worries, we've got more coming up later on in the season, so stay tuned for those. Then afterwards, we are going to be at the RCAT MRCA Roofing Conference. This one's a few weeks out, September 27th through the 29th in Fort Worth, Texas. But if you guys are in and around that area, or you just, you're already going to the RCAT MRCA conference, come out and say hello to our Hail Trace representatives at that. Then yesterday, we had actually a good number of hail reports that came in through the central U.S., as well as some severe weather that went on down through the Gulf states. So starting out with our hail, we actually did get some large hail. I think there were a couple purple swaths that were through rural Nebraska, so got some decent sized stones falling yesterday with that low pressure system that's now tracking its way into Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, all that good stuff. But, it just scraped past Sioux Falls, mostly hit rural areas, but again, got some large hail with that. And then down into the Gulf areas, Houston did get some severe wind, as well as just a little bit of severe hail just between Houston and pretty much the Gulf of Mexico. I think that area is a little bit more rural, but still somewhat populated. So I got some quarters for you guys through there, as well as some severe winds. And then just another scattering of gusty wind reports across the rest of the Gulf from yesterday with that low front tracking into the, ocean. Then into today, we've got that cold front that's kind of moving out of the way. It's just going to linger a little bit through the coastal Carolinas here, so we will have a small risk there. But the main game in town is now going to be this low pressure system, and you can actually see the whole thing, again, spinning right away here all the way from Kansas up into Minnesota and the Dakotas. With that area, we will start to see some storms developing through the Des Moines area, as well as the Iowa-Missouri border. Any of those could be large hailers, and we'll take a look here in a moment. Then down into our cold front risk, like I said, it's going to be pretty scattered. Pretty much anywhere from North Carolina into far eastern Georgia. Could see some gusty winds into later this afternoon and evening with the remainder of that cold front. So for significant hail into today, we're not looking at, a ton across the nation, but with that low pressure system, we do have some cold upper air temperatures, we do have some instability building up through the area, and that's all playing into some nice warm moderate values up here just between Omaha and KC. Again, along the Missouri and Iowa border, that's where we could get potentially some large hailstones into today. It performed yesterday. We could see if it'll continue to do that today with similar looking significant hail model values tracking through the area. So this is what it looks like by 5 p.m. That's when storms should really start rolling, really between, 80, pretty much Des Moines area. That's where storms are going to pretty much initiate, as well as that border, and then they're going to continue to develop, tracking eastward towards Davenport, but we're going to start to lose some steam on those as storm mode kind of gets a little messy and we start to lose those daylight hours. So I'm thinking the largest hail we could see is possibly up to tennis balls today with the initial development of those isolated cells. We're going to take a look here, but scattered hail, but possibly some large hail with that. So again, you can see the development of that low pressure system that we're seeing right now on our future radar as that continues to develop off to the south and east. There goes that leading band. Not going to do as much as the second band that forms behind it. There you go with those isolated cells by around 5 p.m. forming all the way down into rural Kansas. As those continue off to the east, we'll see more development on them, again tracking into Davenport, and with that, large hail is possible as well as some gusty winds as they collapse. But I think hail is probably going to be our primary threat with most of these by 7 p.m., continuing to kind of lose that distinguished cell structure that we saw initially upon the storm's initiation. But once we're into Davenport by around 10 p.m., still could get some loud thunderstorms, but now we're looking at more of a wind risk as well as this cluster that's heading into KC by the early overnight hours. So as that continues off to the east, again, you can see we're kind of losing that hail indicative storm mode, moving into more just heavy rain, some thunder, some lightning as it tracks into Chicago, but then we'll have a resurgence of these storms as they track through the Ohio Valley into tomorrow. So, and then for the coastal Carolinas, it's pretty much going to do what it's doing now pretty much all day. So here we are tracking into the coming hours here. By 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, we got some storms making a run into Charleston and Wilmington. A couple of those could produce maybe some hail, probably going to stay below severe limits, mostly going to be wind through this area. For the coastal Carolinas, all the way again into Georgia through the Macon area as well as Atlanta. As those continue off to the south and east into the late evening hours, early overnight hours, we're going to see things start to taper off and move off the coast altogether. So, it should get quieter as the night goes on for you guys. So for hail for today, going to focus primarily on the Central Plains and the Central Mississippi Valley here. There's our red swath accounting for possibly up to 10 spalls where those storms initially form. And then, quarters to half dollars anywhere from Kansas up into the southern part of Minnesota here. So if you guys are in La Crosse, got a chance for hail all the way down into just to the north. I guess this is Topeka area in Kansas. Got a chance for some hail today. Low end for this city, Schmanzas Schmitty, low end chance for you guys to get some quarters to half dollars. Amanda liked that. And then Des Moines and Davenport, moderate chance for you guys to see hail today. Maybe in the ping pong to golf ball size range, but Davenport, you're moving out of where those storms initially develop, and Des Moines, you guys are on the far western edge of that. So really, if you guys are in anywhere in southeastern Iowa, and the Kansas or the Missouri and Iowa border, that's where you should really be on the lookout for some large hail tonight. But as well as anyone in this risk area, it's possible. So just stay tuned for that. Then into wind, going to include that Central Plains risk area as well as our coastal Carolinas here. So Missouri, into Minnesota, all the way into Kansas. Got some gusty winds possible for you guys. Keep you on the low end for scattered storms as well as the primary hail threat into tonight, but Wichita all the way up into La Crosse could see some damaging winds. Then down into the coastal Carolinas, Savannah, all the way into Wilmington could get some gusty winds as well with the tail end of that low pressure system. Then into tomorrow, going to be looking at a continued threat with that low as it tracks off to the east. So we will see some storms starting to pop back up by around 1 p.m. here just to the east of Davenport. And in the Lincoln area here, got some isolated cells that could be hailers. As that continues to develop throughout the afternoon and evening, here we are by 5:30 Eastern time. Kind of losing any specific storm mode. We don't really have anything linear here, but we don't really have isolated cells, so it could be either or, guys. Take your pick of hail or wind into the 5:30 hour. But Chicago, you guys could be getting some severe storms as well as Davenport, all the way into the south and west towards St. Louis. It's possible we could get some severe weather, and it's going to continue like that into the late evening and early overnight hours as well before we finally kind of start to lose some steam on the majority of our storms and just got a couple of clusters of cells by Sunday morning. So here's your hail threat for tomorrow. Got it, yeah, all in the Ohio Valley accounted for, anywhere from Illinois off into Ohio. So if you guys are in Chicago, if you guys are in St. Louis, Springfield, all the way into Columbus, Cleveland, and Detroit, you got a low-end chance to see some scattered hail with any of those storms that track through. Then for wind, pretty much the same risk area here. It's pretty much 50-50 between the two. Could see some gusty winds down in Springfield, once again all the way up into Cleveland, Ohio. Got a low chance across the board for all of you guys into tomorrow afternoon through, again, the early overnight hours. Then we're going to go into tropics. So if you guys are in South Texas, you want to pay attention here, because now is where we start to see some possible development on the tropical disturbance that we're looking at into the Gulf of Mexico right now. So just since we're getting into the peak hurricane season, want to go over the main tropical ingredients. This is what helps a hurricane or a tropical system at all develop. So the primary thing is going to be water temperature above 80 degrees, and we showed that a couple days ago. We pretty much got bath water in the Gulf of Mexico, mid-80s at least. So we can check that one off the box for the Gulf states. Then we want to look at converging winds, so we need to see some rise in the atmosphere to help these clouds initially form. Then abundant moisture, which, you know, if you guys again are in the southern states, it's been muggy as all get out for the past few weeks. So again, we can check that one off the box, and that is what's helping this develop right now as it tracks through the Gulf, is that we have such warm water temperatures and such high dew points through the area. Then the last and the most key ingredient a lot of the times is low wind shear. So that just means that the upper level winds are all kind of uniform. If they're blowing way faster on the top than they are on the bottom, then you're going to see that storm kind of break apart. It starts to tilt. Hurricanes don't like to tilt. You need that nice stacked eye wall. And so that's what's really key in tropical system development. So into where it's likeliest to form this time of year, here's what we have for the week of August 12th through August 19th. This is all the tropical formations that we've had since 1950. You can see here, we get a whole big area through the western Atlantic where storms tend to like to form. Very little in the Gulf right now, so that's good news for you guys if you don't like to see, you know, tropical systems headed your way. We do have one in the Gulf of Mexico right now, but it's unusual that things really develop a lot this time of year. We're mostly looking at the western Atlantic. Now, that's no reason to be, you know, minimizing this, I guess. You need to be watching this because we have seen it jump over the Yucatan, and it's starting to get more of a circular shape as it tracks upward along the east coast of Mexico. Now, the sooner this moves into land, the less likely chance it has to develop stronger. But again, we've got those warm waters, we've got that high humidity and that muggy air in the area. So we do have some favorable conditions expected for the system as it continues to track off to the northwest. You know, there's a Hurricane Hunter aircraft that's heading into this afternoon, so that'll really help us determine what's going to happen with this system as it tracks towards Texas in the next couple of days. But we do currently have a 60% chance of development over the next 2 or 5 days as this continues up that way. So want to be on the lookout for that, and we're going to keep you guys updated. Obviously, if it does develop more, we've got a very close eye on it, so we'll let you guys know what's happening. But if you guys want to follow us, you can get us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video. And then if you want to get in contact with us, you can call us at 855-334-4245. You can also email us if you'd rather at info@hailtrace.com, or check out our website, hailtrace.com, for more details. And I will keep you updated as always. But for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.